The horror never ends. Evolution is ramping up after its second issue, and we're continuing to celebrate the creation of this grotesquely entertaining book. In doing so, the writing team of the comics sent us their favorite body horror stories. And today we're diving into high crimes and demonic writer Chris Sebela's top 5 picks. So let's dive in. First up is, once again, David Cronenberg's The Fly. To start, the film is based on a 1957 short story by French writer Georges Langelin, although this version strays away from this short story and its first adaptation starring Vincent Price in 1958. Cronenberg's decision to keep the slower, more detailed, gradual transformation from the original script written by Charles Edward Pogue is what elevates this story to gooey greatness. His slow conversion to Brundlefly is accentuated not only by Cronenberg's storytelling prowess, but also by special effects designer Chris Wallace, who had previously worked on Gremlins, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Scanners. Contrary to James's repulsion with the film, Chris felt that the body horror aspect also comes up when Gina Davis's character learns she's pregnant with his kid. He states, if you think about it clinically, pregnancy is body horror. A loss of your own self, complete with some gruesome visuals. Not as gruesome as a guy turning into a 6-foot fly, but it's vomited on food for thought.
That's disgusting.
Next up is the 1978 adaptation of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, a remake of the film with the same name from 1956, based on the book The Body Snatchers by Jack Finney. The story follows a San Francisco health inspector and his colleague who discovers that the human race is being replaced by alien duplicates, who are exact replicas to the eye, yet are devoid of human emotion. The film plays with the paranoid sense of not knowing who to trust, and the horror here remains rather poignant today, acting as a reflection of concerns about conformity, technology, and humanity itself. Chris feels that the remake manages to lean hard on the loss of self, while also throwing in some really screwed up visuals, from human-animal amalgamations, to weird, webby clone births, all the way to creepy pointing paired with some pretty annoying yelling. Donald, we get it! Oh, and count this as 2 in a row for Jeff Goldblum in our countdown. Attaboy. Before we go any further, I'm gonna go ahead and warn you all that this next one is pretty friggin' disgusting. And that is Brian Yuzna's 1989 horror flick, Society. The film follows Billy Warlock, a Beverly Hills teen who discovers his parents are part of an orgy cult for the social elite. As Billy's lingering suspicion only results in him turning up more and more evidence of being correct, it isn't until the very end that the truth is finally revealed. Billy's family isn't his family at all. Rather a group of aliens? We're not really sure what they are. Who are physically feeding on the poor. And not just eating, but melding and sucking the nutrients out of people, and they intend to do the same to Bill. While being a pretty on-the-nose statement of the greediness of the upper class, the film definitely takes the body horror genre and does not wear it lightly. The climax of the film is an all-out menagerie of fucked up morphing, bending, turned inside-outing, and a lot of other verbs that shouldn't be used to describe the human body. Oh, and it's worth noting the most literal interpretation of a butthead ever put to film. While we're on the topic of the bizarre, let's dig a little deeper. Chris's next pick is Tetsuo the Iron Man, the 1989 Japanese cyberpunk horror film written, produced, edited, and directed by Shinya Tsukamoto. The story follows Yatsu, who is a metal fetishist, cutting open his leg and shoving a large steel rod into the wound. After Yatsu runs out into the street, he's accidentally ran down by a businessman and his girlfriend. They decide to dispose of the body, which ignites a really bizarre curse that slowly turns the businessman into iron. This film is insanely frantic and offers up little to no explanation and goes to some really dark places, some of which might include a giant stop-motion iron drill as a penis, in case you're into that kind of stuff. The list started with Cronenberg, it's only fitting that it ends with Cronenberg. Chris's final pick is his 1983 film, Videodrome. The story follows the CEO of a small TV station who stumbles on a broadcast signal featuring extreme violence and torture. As he continues to investigate, layers of deception and mind control conspiracy unfolds as he finds the source and loses touch with reality. The film features bizarre and disturbing hallucinations, like this one. Chris had this to say of the film. To me, this is the granddaddy of body horror. It's one of the first films that introduced my kid brain to the concept, and it's never been the same. But what makes Videodrome great is it isn't just torture and gore for its own sake. Like one of the characters in it says, it has a philosophy, and that is what makes it dangerous.
Long live the new flesh.
I know we just hit you all with some pretty heavy imagery, but if you haven't seen any of the films mentioned in the video, then you should seek them out. Also, go pick up Evolution number 1 and 2, which are both available at your local comic shop or Comixology.com. Give this video a like, subscribe to Skybound, and let us know what your favorite body horror stories are. Thanks for tuning in.